Welcome to Tech-Driven Productivity. In today's video, we're going to be covering 5 different approaches to use AI to be more productive in your daily work or life. All right, let's get into it. Number 1, did you know that the average person can think of 3 to 5 solutions to any problem at a time? Imagine using AI to come up with 50 different ideas and 50 different solutions for whatever problem you're facing. It will really enhance the way you think about problems and give you an advantage over others. Let's use an example. Imagine you've got a business and you are doing some planning for an offsite with your whole team, and you want to make the most of this thing. So you might have the average meetings and team build up and maybe a bowling outing and maybe some sort of a dinner event. But imagine you sit down before at the time of planning this retreat and ask AI, give me like 50 different ideas. Now, boom, you got like ideas to go out and do some mystery problem solving or setting up rooms that will have different team or setting up some sort of a competitive game for your teams or community volunteering challenges. A whole bunch of ideas that you would have never thought about or your team would have never thought about if they were sitting there for 4 hours. In like 1 minute, you have 50 ideas that you can use, and you can impactfully utilize those ideas in your team. Number 2, the most innovative ideas often come from limited resources. Imagine the Apollo 13 accident and how miraculous it was for those astronauts to return. There were so many constraints on them with the availability of items and materials on the LEM and the spaceship. The engineers on the ground had very limited resources. They could only work with certain things. But given those constraints, they produced solutions no matter what, because they had a problem that they had to solve. Put that same level of constraint on your AI. Let's say you want to develop a business idea and you have some limitations of the financial means of how you want to start, maybe the market reach or the lack of audience or community. Use AI to give you the ability to have a leverage that would be forced upon given those constraints. So go to AI and say, hey, I want to start a business doing X, Y, and Z. And here's my constraints. The constraints are this, 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 this. And be as realistic as possible with those constraints, because it will force the AI to think outside the box given those constraints and give you the avenues and roadmaps to come out of that problem in a way with solutions that you would probably not have thought about. It's a fantastic way to approach problems. Number 3, role play scenarios. We all have difficult discussions that we have to have, whether it's with our spouse, children, parents, team members, employees, boss, whatever you name it. We always have some sort of difficult discussion we'll have to have. What is a better way to get prepared for those than just practicing on AI? Do a role play. Go to OpenAI, get on the voice where you speak live with it and say, hey, I want you to role play my boss. I'm going to be talking to you about getting a raise next quarter, and be as difficult as possible so I can practice on how to change your mind. And you'd be surprised how beneficial that is, that scenario of role play, because it will put you in a mindset of being in that role, and it will give you the ability to think about, all right, there is something that I can't think of if I was just thinking about this problem. Now, as I'm role playing it and going through this process of talking it through with AI, I have a little better understanding of the frame of mind where my boss would be coming from. And here's the best part. When you prompt or when you provide direction to your AI, give some direction so it will be following the same identity as the person you're going to be talking to. That will make it much more real and much more productive for you and give you the practice level that you would need. I hope that works for you. Let's go to number 4, perspective shifting. Einstein said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. You cannot always think about the same problem in the same way. You have to put yourself in different perspectives and different frames of mind. The person that came up with the light bulb was not a candle maker. Thomas Edison came to it with a very different set of mind and perspective. If he was a candle maker who was always thinking about how to improve candles and the burn rate and all these things of a candle, they would never have come up with a light bulb. So sometimes you have to shift your perspective in order to help you come up with better solutions for your problems. So use AI to think differently. If you are prompting it for a particular problem, ask it or give it an identity. I want you to think about this like a scientist. I want you to think about this like an inventor. I want you to think about this like a lawyer. Give it different identities and it will surprise you with the approach that it will take, because it will be very different than the way you might take if you're not a lawyer or one of those identities. And it's very valuable. All right, let's go to number 5, pre-mortems. Research shows that anticipating failure increases project success rates by up to 30%. So what does that mean? All right, so let's say I have a project with a clear deadline. We have to get this done in 2 weeks. And if we don't, what will happen? So you can put yourself in that frame of mind and say, what will potential downfalls of not accomplishing that project? But what AI can do is come up with potential failure scenarios. Now you know what could go wrong with a project, especially with the constraint of 2 weeks. Now you have 2 weeks to get there. You have this many team members. What can go wrong? Certain employee can get sick for a week. We have a lack of all those things. That could be something that could happen, and AI could think of that. How will that make it more improvement for you? As you have thought about all of those potential downfalls or failure modes that could cause you to miss that deadline of 2 weeks, now you've thought out what could go wrong. And as you're planning for that project, you can give yourself a buffer of 2 or 3 days to potentially avoid problems and get the job done maybe ahead of schedule, or potentially plan around those downfalls so you can avoid it. Maybe have 1 or 2 other backup engineers or scientists or employees or marketers, whoever needs to be part of that team, have a backup for each person in some capacity. Borrow from another team if you're in an enterprise setting. Allow yourself to not fail. That is a pre-mortem approach. It always works. It will help you anytime. I hope this video has helped you be more productive with AI. Again, these are tools that are readily available to any of us. And I hope with these videos, I can give you the opportunity to use these tools that are readily available to you. And in most cases, some of them or most of them are free. So why not use them, enhance your capabilities? Anyone that is going to be replacing you is not going to be AI. It's going to be someone that's using AI. So why not be that person? If you like this material and this channel, please subscribe or like or both. And we will be making more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.